going on, everybody? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. Andrew Booth was just traded away from our Vikings in a cornerback for cornerback trade where Minnesota is receiving Dallas Cowboys corner Nahshon Wright. So coming up on today's show, we're going back and seeing what went wrong for Andrew Booth in Minnesota. And then I also want to give you guys everything you know about new addition Nahshon Wright from the Dallas Cowboys, as he is still a young corner, 25 years old. And I'm optimistic about how he could fit in with Brian Flores and this Vikings defense. But before we dive into that, guys, I actually want to say thank you so much, as we are a couple of subscribers away from hitting 27,000 here on the channel. And personally, I put my goal before week 1 to hit 28,000 subs, and we're tapping on that door right now. So if you guys could hit that subscribe button, lock us in, never miss a thing around your Minnesota Vikings. Even on my off day, I'll hop on here and break down, whatever type of news we get around our favorite football team. And plus, if we want to hit 28K for Adrian Peterson before week 1, I think that would be pretty cool as well. But let's start off here with the Andrew Booth side of things. So, if you're looking back at that draft class for Kwesi in 2022, where it was Lewis Cine being the first-round pick and then Andrew Booth being the second-round pick, and I'm assuming Cine will either get cut or maybe traded as well before 53-man roster cuts come around the corner. But then Booth, with him being traded, the first 2 picks of that draft classes for that draft class was just a waste. And, Booth really struggled in his rookie campaign. Vikings had a lot of injuries to that cornerback room in the 2022 season, and he was, given some opportunity, getting 105 defensive snaps that year, but he only graded out as a 45.3 grade according to PFF, a 41.7 coverage grade, and he actually allowed 152 yards and 11.7 yards per reception. And just reading body language and just how Booth kind of addressed himself in interviews during training camp, and even when the Vikings would put out on their social media accounts, where it would be like all the players walking into practice and would be like, hey, are you a sweet guy or are you a sour guy? Or ask just a general question. I just felt like his body language from those interviews, he never really felt fully in it. It never felt like he wanted to, be in Minnesota and with the Vikings. And I probably, I don't necessarily blame him for that, as he was a second-round pick. He's just waiting for his opportunity to prove himself. And we saw the other day at training camp, he was getting third-string reps on that defense with Lewis Cine. So I'm sure he was just a little ticked off, like, hey, how am I supposed to prove myself to you guys if you're not allowing me to even get the opportunity? And you have even UDFAs from this past draft class playing over him. I'm sure it just, Booth was just getting frustrated. And I'm sure Kwesi went to Booth and said, hey, we're going to deal you to the Dallas Cowboys, and I'm actually pretty positive that Booth was thrilled about it. But even in this past year for the Vikings, Booth, he was active in a lot more games in his sophomore year, but he only saw 151 defensive snaps, graded out a lot better according to PFF at having a 68.6 overall grade and then a 69.1 coverage grade. He did allow actually only 30 yards this past season, 7.5 yards per reception. And, personally, I was completely wrong about the Andrew Booth draft pick. I loved it when he was coming out of Clemson. Very physical corner, and I thought at the time the Vikings lacked a sense of physicality, and I thought Booth was going to bring that. But, due to the injuries and just other guys playing ahead of him, it just never worked out for, him and the Minnesota Vikings. And even though he wasn't the best scheme fit with Brian Flores, I thought maybe there was a chance Flo was going to be able to unlock just another part of his game. But, I got no bad words about Booth. Unfortunate that that draft pick did not work out. But, hey, he's heading to the Dallas Cowboys. But let's break down the newest Minnesota Vikings member, Nahshon Wright. And, this is just me looking at his height off the jump here. He's a 6'4" corner, 185 pounds, big body, physical guy. He was a third-round pick out of Oregon State, pick 100 for the Dallas Cowboys. So he has 3 years of NFL experience already. And I asked our Cowboys report host here, Tom Downey, just, what are your quick thoughts on Nahshon Wright? And he said he is not that good at football. So I'm sure, the Cowboys were saying we're probably going to cut him or trade him. We could take a chance on a guy like Andrew Booth. And, I'm a big believer in change of scenery. For not just players in whatever respective sport, but just also in life. Like if you just go to a new job and, you're wanted there right away, you're you're going to be more motivated to put in that work. And, sometimes you just run out your course with whatever, organization, company, or team you are at. And so hopefully for Booth and Nahshon Wright, this change of scenery, is the best thing that happened for their NFL career. But, like I said, 6'4" corner, 185 pounds, and PFF graded him out in his rookie campaign in 2021 as a 45.7 overall grade. Had a 45 coverage grade. Sophomore year got a little better, 51.8 overall grade, 47.4 in coverage. And then his third year, his junior campaign, was actually his best season, grading out 60.1 overall and then 58.2 coverage grade. And he didn't play in a lot of snaps, only 52 this past season. So both these guys weren't playing with the respective teams. But I'm sure the Vikings are just looking at this guy, big body, physical corner, just hoping, Brian Flores can work his wonders on him like he has done for other cornerbacks for other teams in the past. But let's look up his 40-yard dash here real quick. He did run a 4.49. That was in the 82nd percentile. His vertical jump was 31 inches. That was in the 31st percentile. Graded out very well in the broad jump, 126 inches, which was in the 89th percentile. So clearly this guy is a good athlete, may not be the same vertical athlete as some of these other players, but clearly the Vikings are, addressing the cornerback situation. We heard that report a couple weeks ago from Darren Wolfson that expect a big name to be coming into this cornerback room, and then they sign Fabian Morrow. Now they go trade for Nahshon Wright. I'm not sure if this is the big name Darren Wolfson was talking about, but, it could still be a guy like Stephon Gilmore. He's got, a relationship with Brian Flores. Could be a guy like Xavier Howard. And I will make this note about maybe people freaking out about the Vikings not bringing in a Gilmore or Howard. They both know Flores' system probably better than any cornerback out there on the market. If we were to bring them in, I'm pretty confident they could join a week before week 1 against the New York Giants and be incredibly productive that Sunday at noon. I don't think it would take a lot of time for them to really get into gear, especially with what Brian Flores likes to do, and they're already familiar with them. But the Vikings do have their first preseason game tomorrow versus the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm definitely going to be looking at the cornerback room a little more in depth here. Probably Nahshon Wright won't be out there, but be looking at guys like a Caleb Evans. Can he finally take that next step? I've liked what I've seen from him in his short NFL career so far, but overall, the Vikings are going to need somebody to step up. And if they want to have playoff aspirations, that cornerback group is the biggest X factor, because if Byron Murphy can return to being a somewhat cornerback 1, cornerback 2 in the NFL, maybe he turns out to be a top 20 corner or something this upcoming year, and Shaq Griffin gets back to his old self and Caleb Evans takes a jump, then maybe you get a random pop guy like Nahshon Wright, for example, that could take that group to the next level. But if this defense, if they want to be top 10, top 15 in the league, cornerback is the definite biggest question mark, because I like the edge department. You like Van Ginkel, you like Grenard, you like Dallas Turner, you even like the interior of the defensive line just a little bit more with Harrison Phillips, Jerry Tillery, Jonathan Bullard. Then the linebacker group's pretty good as well, and we know the safety group is one of the best in the league, if not the best, with the three-headed monster they have over there. But cornerback is going to be a huge X factor for them, so definitely tomorrow versus the Raiders, I'm going to be looking at that. But also, I can't wait to watch J.J. McCarthy and Dallas Turner play football tomorrow. Just a little random thought to end up today's show. Quickly on Dallas Turner, I think obviously since the quarterback battle around the Vikings, all the attention's going to J.J. McCarthy. But a guy like Turner, I am super pumped up to watch him play, because I'm sure the Vikings are going to give him a lot of run in the preseason, as you're assuming Van Ginkel and Grenard will start at the edge department week 1. So the Vikings will probably want to give Turner a lot of reps. So hopefully he can get home a couple of times on Gardner Minshew or Aiden O'Connell tomorrow. And then obviously J.J. McCarthy. I'm just excited to watch him play, see if everything we've been seeing in training camp comes to fruition out there on the U.S. Bank Stadium field. And then also Sam Darnold. I am just excited to watch him play. New, change of scenery for him. Probably the best support system he has had in his NFL career. So there's a ton of fun things to watch for the Vikings preseason game tomorrow, which is why we will be live here on the channel, probably about 45 minutes or an hour before kickoff. So make sure you guys subscribe, turn on those notifications, don't miss a thing. I made a promise to you guys on a video this week that I will post a video every single day until the season ends. sticking by that promise. So if you guys don't want to miss a thing and have a Vikings video to watch every single day, I'm your channel. So hit that subscribe button. We'll see you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.